everybody can begin your competition.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bowl TV, the new Bowl TV. My name is Matt Canizaro, and back on the headset here live at the ITRC, the International Training and Research Center in Arlington, Texas. It is the home of Team USA, and this week we have 19 of this year's Team USA members in the house. It is the start of their Pan Am trials, qualifying to see who will represent the United States at the 2019 Pan American Games in Lima, Peru, coming up this summer. So it should be a quick 6 games each day here at the ITRC. Again, 19 of this year's 25 Team USA members. I think we might be down to 18 now. Marshall Kent here, but injured. So we'll have the final word on that here in just one moment. Our featured pairs this week, and we'll be here for 4 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 6 games each day on a different World Bowling oil pattern. We'll talk more about that and each pattern along the way. Right now, let's meet our players for our first game here. Game 1 of 6. Today we're bowling on the 41-foot Rome oil pattern. 41 feet. And World Bowling breaks up their oil patterns into different banks, as they call them. There's a bank 30 and a bank 40. Essentially 12 oil patterns per year. That way everybody around the world has the opportunity to see and experience the same oil pattern, so that when they head off to international competition, it'll be a level playing field. Right now, the members of Team USA being tested over 4 days on 4 of those World Bowling oil patterns. Here in our featured pairs this game is the reigning PWBA Player of the Year, Shannon O'Keefe, U.S. Women's Open champion Liz Culkin, and longtime Team USA member Missy Parkin. And we'll have alternating each game, 1 women's pair and 1 men's pair. Over on the men's pair, 2-time Team USA member Nick Pate. He is joined by Darren Tang and the left-hander Jacob Butchef. So looking forward to seeing what these ladies and gentlemen have in store for us this week at the ITRC again today. 41-foot Rome oil pattern. A test of versatility for sure throughout the week. Tomorrow will be on 36 feet, Thursday 44 feet, and on Friday 39. So short, medium, and long, an opportunity to see the players utilize all parts of the lane. We do appreciate everybody joining us on today's live stream. Again, my name is Matt Canizaro. Today, alongside Grant Houghton. He is here. You guys might know him as the giveaway guru here on the new Bowl TV.
Yes, the giveaway guru indeed is back.
So Grant there in the chat making some things happen. We'll have some raffles and giveaways and different things happening throughout this week's event. And then It's your lucky week. We are overflowing with excitement here on Bowl TV. We'll have some collegiate action later in the week. The intercollegiate team and singles championships coming up down the road. Sectionals will be happening this weekend. We'll have our Bowl TV staff members posted at 4 points across the United States, bringing you the best collegiate action around as those teams fight their way, hopefully for a spot at the intercollegiate team and singles championship. So all that coming up here on Bowl TV later in the week. Right now, for the first of 4 days, it's Team USA men and women here at the 2019 Pan Am Trials. So for general Team USA events, PABCON, or the World Championships, the players get together and they have camps and clinics and practices and evaluations and such, and the coaches are able to select the players who will go to those events. For the Pan Am Games, which happens once every 4 years, last time was 2015 in Toronto, the players must endure a qualifying process, so the selections are entirely performance-based. 2 men and 2 women, when the process is over, will represent Team USA at the Pan Am Games in Peru. And as Kelly Kulik described earlier today, among these players, only she and Shannon Plahowski have been to the Pan Am Games and described it as, really for bowling, it is bowling's Olympics. And we'll have some more specifics on the Pan Am Games as things unfold here. But a very prestigious honor to be able to represent Team USA at the Pan Am Games, get to join the athletes from all other sports, live in the athletes' village, eat in the athletes' dining room. And as Rod Ross, Team USA head coach, described, if you win a medal at the Pan Am Games, you're guaranteed a standing ovation when you exit the bus back at the dormitory. So just a lot of excitement there. And for the players who have been, something they'd very much like to experience again. And no doubt some great talent here this week on both sides. Young talent, experience, Team USA first-timers. Down yonder, A.J. Johnson, recently named back to Team USA. He's a world champion in the team event back in 2017. So he is, again, newly renamed to the team and ready to get at it here at the Pan Am Trials. And going with him down yonder this game, Sean Wilcox, first-time Team USA member, and Perry Crowell, the fourth. Next men's pair, Wesley Lowe, the left-hander. E.J. Tackett, you saw him just this weekend on FS1. Going on the PBA Tour. They're joined by this year's Team USA Trials champion, John Janowitz, the longtime Team USA member. He's the senior of the group, the father figure here for Team USA. And the rest of the men, as we mentioned here in our featured pair, Jacob Buttriff, Darren Tang, and Nick Pate. And for the ladies, Jordan Richard, Josie Barnes, Kelly Kulik, Parkin, Colkin, and O'Keefe. And then to our right, Shannon Plahowski, the left-hander, Sydney Brummett, and Stephanie Johnson joining us. So the way this will work is a format they're relatively familiar with, similar to the Team USA Trials and how many of them made the team or have in the past, is a point-based system. So each day they will face a different oil pattern, and the goal at the end of this process is to have the fewest points possible. So you will get points based on your finish each day this week at the ITRC, and points for your overall finish. So the best you possibly could do is end the week with 5 points. That would mean you have to lead every single day, And of course, if you led every day, you'd be the overall leader. So 1 point for each. And this week's action will account for 60% of their points toward the Pan Am qualifying. So it's a little bit confusing, even for the players. And then things will wrap up down the road a bit. For the men, will be at the USBC Masters. And for the ladies, the USBC Queen. So we'll have a similar format at those events. You'll receive points based on your qualifying finish, and then additional points based on your overall finish by advancing to the match play bracket. So we won't know who our qualifiers are until the Queens wraps up in a couple of months, but we'll know who our front runners are after this week here at the ITRC. So that's a quick rundown, and again, it's going to be a quick 6 games. We'll try to get you some game-by-game standings on bowl.com. Go to bowl.com/Team USA. And you'll see a link on the right side there. For Pan Am qualifying. Round by round. Also, you can see the oil patterns there. Today, 41-foot Rome. Tomorrow, 36-foot Stockholm. Followed by 44-foot London and 39-foot Beijing. If you do have any questions for us, drop those in the chat. We'll be glad to get them answered for you. Again, we've got the giveaway guru, Brant Houghton, here with us, taking in some live streaming. He's going to make his live stream debut at one of our sectional events coming up this week. He's been behind the scenes here since the launch of the new Bowl TV. And now he's going to be hopping on the mic. Let's see what Brant has to say.
Yeah, they about to have a new Mouth of the South in the Dallas region this weekend for the Dallas region intercollegiate sectionals. So March 8th through the 10th. 1 of 4, Addison, Smyrna, Stratford, and of course Dallas. So ready to hop on the mic. Today though, we have trivia, raffles, giveaways. Oh my! Early, often. We're gonna have some fun today, Matt.
All right, a lot going on. You can see there on the right side of your screen. Just click through those tabs, be able to see who's on our featured pairs each game. There's some additional tournament information about the Pan Am qualifying.
So basically, any information that you would like to know about the tournament today in the live stream, click on the Tournament Informations tab. We'll have live scoring, information on the oil pattern, and standings posted there as well.
Right, so we'll allow Brant to now go from marketing to microphone here on Bowl TV. Share some thoughts here. Liz Colkin, not liking this right lane too much. 2 7-10s on lane 10 so far here in our opening game. If you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Matt Canizaro. Back on Bowl TV. We are live at the International Training and Research Center in Arlington, Texas, the home of Team USA. And it's not often we get to see all the Team USA members in one place. Most of them, at least. We've got 19 in attendance, 18 competing. A few at other events around the world this week. Marshall Kent is here, and turns out he has a hand injury. So all the games that they bowl take a toll, of course. Marshall decided he was going to rest up for the World Series of Bowling, which is coming up. But here in attendance, and hopefully will come and join us on the live stream to talk a little bit about what we're seeing here. Again, 41-foot roam. I imagine with all the different styles here, you'll see the players perhaps attacking the lanes a little bit differently, but for the most part, being at 41 feet, they're going to be a little bit farther in. So Liz Culkin there, just left of 15 at the arrows. She's got a bit of a heavy hand, so she's going to loop the ball a little bit more. Missy Parkin is going to be a little bit more direct, a little more ball speed as well. If you do click on the tournament information tab on the right side of your screen there, it'll take you to the Pan Am page on bowl.com. You'll be able to check the roster, see who's here today, and a link to the live scoring. You can view the oil patterns as well. Now we get into the 10th frame, game 1 of 6. Already coming to a close here. Nick Pate over on 11 and 12. Can we get to 211? Great shot there by Darren Tang. 224, his max. Jacob Buttriff, we're all getting accustomed to seeing his unique style. Still has 249 out there, clean through 9. And on our ladies pair, Liz Culkin. Step up first to start the 10th frame. There's 2 710s on the right lane. Her max 197. Shannon O'Keefe working on a 4-bagger. She can get to 236. And Missy Parkin max score 208. So Liz looks like a little bit farther right on the right lane. All 10 down for the double. Recap on bowl.com later today of today's action, in case you missed any of it. You can check back in the Bowl TV archives. We'll be back on again the rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at noon Eastern each day. 6 games a day. We have 3 Team USA members per pair. Quick shout out to the whole Bowl TV team. Brett Howden, man behind the scenes, the giveaway guru, Aaron Smith, and Emil Williams Jr. really making things happen on this beautiful new platform. And I am just stopping in, getting the quick tutorial. And we'll be settled in for 24 games. Shannon O'Keefe, 198. Liz Culkin, 186. McPate finishes with 200. Darren Tang, 214. And now Parkin and Buttriff will close things out. Tough spare there for Jacob. Gets the sleeper to stay clean. And with good count, he'll be in the 220s. Brant, you've had a chance to see some Team USA action. You've been to the Team USA Trials. You were there doing your Bowl TV thing this year, and now kind of getting to see it through a little bit. The players we saw bowl well or get selected to Team USA now in action, wearing the red, white, and blue for them. It's pretty neat for sure to put those jerseys on, especially for the first time. And now for us behind the scenes, it's always pretty cool just to be a part of it as well.
Yeah, you know, my one takeaway, Matt, from working team trials and seeing the duration of that event is these people, these bowlers right here, the best of the best. It was quite the honor, of course, to represent Team USA and wear the red, white, and blue, and now they're all here under the same roof again, trying to represent their country. Team USA trials, of course, a grueling, grueling event. We're looking forward to having some fun here. It's a little bit quicker here at the Pan Am qualifier than it was at team trials. But overall, you know, obviously you want the best of the best representing your country at each event, and this kind of sums it up. What better way to find out who's going to represent Team USA than have a bowl off?
All right, the Team USA members, again, you mentioned the best of the best. They're here pushing each other, but working together at the same time. And with their hectic schedules, training camp, generally a kind of a 1 week deal each year. But with everything going on, not sure how that's going to shake out here. So this might be their one opportunity, at least for now, to see each other and spend some time together. There's a lot of team building that goes on off the lanes as well. For the gentlemen, many of them, most of them, pretty active on the PBA tour. So they're pretty sharp. They're out there week in and week out. We've seen Jacob Butchuff, EJ Tackett on TV a couple times this year. AJ Johnson out there chasing the dream a little bit. And then for the ladies, they are just, I think it's 52 or 53 days now away from the PWBA tour. If you follow Shannon O'Keefe on social media, she's out there posting pretty much daily about how hard she's working on and off the lanes, in the gym, on the treadmill, doing the countdown to the PWBA tour season. So they are just now still getting sharp and getting ready for that. For John Janowitz and Kelly Kulik, they've already secured places in the 2019 Cubic AMF Bowling World Cup based on their victories at the USBC Team USA Trials in January. Coming up next for the men will be the PABCON Championships. That'll be in Lima, Peru, same location as the Pan Am Games. So a little bit of an advantage there to get to that bowling center, which just my understanding is brand new. So they'll be down there in April to experience that. We'll have the announcement of who those team members are coming up later this week. And for the ladies, this is a World Championships year. So coming up this summer, after the Pan Am Games, at the end of August, we'll have the World Women's Championships from South Point Bowling Plaza in Las Vegas. That'll be followed up by the Senior World Championships. So busy, busy year for the Team USA players and coaches. Resumes being accepted for the Senior World Championships. So check out bowl.com/Team USA for details on that. But for the ladies, again, just getting sharp now and working toward the PWBA tour season, and then the World Championships coming up in August. So all of this will weigh into those decisions, and the coaches have a very deep and talented field to choose from. And just like that, it is time for game number 2. Get our graphic changed here.
And if you go into the sidebar panel, we got that game 2 graphic updated as well. So we got bowling lanes 9 through 12.
Right, so moving right along. Game 2 underway here in our featured pairs, 9 and 10. The 7-10 rearing its head again on lane 10. This time the left-hander Plachowski. She's the lone left-hander on the women's side. She's joined on that pair by Kelly Kulik. We mentioned her, headed to the World Cup. That's an event that Shannon has won twice previously. In addition to a runner-up finish, they're joined by Stephanie Johnson, multi-time world champion, in a late addition to this week's event. Steph lives just a little way down the road in McKinney, Texas. And over on our men's pair this game, we mentioned AJ Johnson, recent add to the Team USA roster for 2019. He is joined by the youngster, Sean Wilcox, and fellow Floridian, John Janowitz, the long time. So good mixture of talent here. Catch up with some of these players throughout the week, get their thoughts and feelings on this event, what's on the line. Again, of all the players here, Sandy Plachowski and Kelly Kulik, the only two have been to the Pan Am Games, so haven't had that experience. And for Kelly, she's done quite a bit in her Hall of Fame career. One thing left is that World Cup, and she'll have a chance to bowl for that coming up at the end of the year, typically in November. That location to be announced. And if you're just dropping in, we appreciate it. My name is Matt Kenizawa, alongside Brandon Houghton, Aaron Smith, and Bill Williams Jr. somewhere around here. Pan Am Trials. 18 Team USA members fighting for 4 spots, 2 men and 2 women. At the end of this process, we'll be headed to Lima, Peru later this summer. Question in the chat from Drew Park, and is there live scoring? Absolutely. If you click on the 4 tabs at the top right hand side of your screen there, go to the one that says tournament information. Click on that. It'll take you to the Pan Am page on bowl.com, and you'll be able to see the link to the live scoring, the rosters, the oil patterns, and all the details. We'll have a recap for you later tonight on bowl.com as well. We'll talk to some of the players and get their thoughts. Taking a look at the men's standings through one game. Again, we have 9 men and 9 women here this week now. 18 players after Marshall Kent unable to compete. But leading the way, game 1, E.J. Tack at 256, Perry Crowell, 247, John Janowitz, 225, Jacob Butcheff, 224, Darren Tang, 214, A.J. Johnson, 210, Sean Wilcox, 208, Nick Pate, 200, and Wesley Lowe, the left-hander, 166. For the ladies, Josie Barnes leading the way, 247. Steph Johnson, 227. Shane Plachowski, 216. Jordan Richard, 214. Shannon O'Keefe, 198. Missy Parkin, 188. Liz Koken, 186. Sydney Brummett, 177. And Kelly Kulik, 173. Players will move across the house here at the ITRC, utilizing lanes 3 through 14. These are the main competition lanes here at the ITRC. 14 lanes on one side of the wall, and a few more pairs on the other side. In the research area, they do have the ability to take down the wall next to lane 14 and give you at least another pair with the same lane surface. They also have some other lane surfaces over there for research purposes. But this week, lanes 3 through 14 in play here at the ITRC. Great shot there by Kulik for the double. We're going to work on those standings as well, if not game by game. By day's end, but we'll keep you posted. Another look at the youngster, Sean Wilcox. Here on lane 11. He qualified for Team USA and Junior Team USA with a great week at the Team USA Trials out in Las Vegas in January. Getting settled in here halfway through game 2 of 6 Pan Am Trials. 4 of these players will be headed to Peru later this summer. Which 4 will it be? Who's your favorites? Tell us who you're cheering for there in the chat. We know who Drew Parkin's cheering for. Probably Mike Pate as well. Saw Mr. Rondo in there earlier, Shannon O'Keefe's father. Shot there by Janowitz, can't get the 10 to go. This is the start of an exciting week of live coverage here on Bowl TV. We've got Team USA action today through Friday afternoon. And then our collegiate crew takes over. All corners of the USA. Mayor Smith, Emil Williams Jr., Jason Thomas, and Brent Houghton all will be at different sectional locations. And by the end of the weekend, we'll know our competitors for the intercollegiate singles and intercollegiate team championships. Those events will be coming up in April. A ton of bowling to be done this week and over the weekend for those young players. And you get to watch it all unfold here live on Bowl TV. And we're more fun than ever. There'll be giveaways, raffles, polls, trivia, all kinds of good stuff. And a week of on-the-job training for yours truly, Matt Canizaro here behind lanes 9 through 12 at the ITRC.
Matt, so you mentioned your first week of on-the-job training. You've had a few glimpses of Bowl TV, of the other streams. So let's hear your take on it. What do you think about the new platform? We've heard some feedback from the customers in the chat. We appreciate your feedback. Love engaging and hearing from you guys. What do you think, Matt?
Well, I think you just said the magic word, and that is engagement. It's really neat to see the interaction. Of course, we always had the chat on Bowl TV, so a lot of great questions and conversations and discussions happening in the chat at our various events. A nice opportunity to meet people, at least electronically, many of whom we get to see at various events around the world. I get to see them in person, put a face to the name, which is always cool. And now, by checking in, not only do you get to watch some great bowling and follow your favorite players on various platforms, really. We cover a little bit of everything from youth bowling to the PWBA Tour, which is awesome. So no matter what you're into, there's going to be something for you on Bowl TV. And who doesn't like winning free stuff as well? So you just watch, you win for watching, which is very cool. A lot of opportunities, and again, the new moniker, the giveaway guru. Of course, it's not all about the free stuff, but the amazing content. But who wouldn't want to watch a little Bowl TV in an autographed Team USA jersey or some variation of that?
We may have one or two autographed Team USA jerseys in our back pockets this week. The T-shirt cannon has been feeling a little heavy, and I don't think they're just T-shirts in there. So stay tuned. May have a couple surprises coming up for all you viewers back home.
Right, always an adventure here on Bowl TV, and only going to get better. Some great action coming up for today. All about Team USA as we are winding down game number 2 already. Game 2 of 6. 24 games total this week. Each day, players will be assigned a point value based on their finish. First place on each side. First place on each side will get 1 point. Second place, 2 points. Third place, 3 points, and so on. And there'll be points assigned for their overall finish for the week as well. And then all that will carry over for the men to the upcoming USBC Masters, and for the ladies, the USBC Queens. So this week will count 60% of the qualifying, and then those major events will count for the other 40%. So just like that, top 2 men, top 2 women will represent the USA at the Pan Am Games. So this selection process, 100% performance-based. And for the players who aren't able to be here, they're not completely out of it. They'll still have the opportunity to receive points. So, for example, as Rod Ross explained it to me earlier, there's 9 men and 9 women competing this week. And everybody who's not here will get 10 points.
Easy enough.
For each day and for overall finish. And it is perhaps confusingly too simple. But we'll see if we can't get those standings up for you ASAP so you can follow along at home.
Kelly Kulik really putting together quite a nice game too here. Max 259. Really like that last shot.
Kelly mentioned at the Team USA trials, very, very motivated coming into 2019. A fire that we haven't seen in a few years. And the relaunch of the PWBA Tour back in 2015 took Kelly a minute to find the winner's circle, finish the 2018 season with a few runner-up finishes, and then hit the gym, hit the lanes, and she was ready to go in 2019. Proved that at the Team USA trials, winning that event to earn a trip to the World Cup. And said flat out, look out, ladies. So we are looking out. Kulik here off to a hot start after a 173 start. So she is 9th of 9 after game 1, but looking to make up some ground here on this 41-foot Rome oil pattern. She'll step up here for her 10th frame on lane 10. Across from her, Shannon Plahowski, who has spent half her life on Team USA. The lone left-hander for the ladies. Kelly with the split there in the 10th, but she can do 239. Plahowski can get to 205. For the men, great shot, AJ Johnson. The world champion, AJ Johnson, can get to 182. Rough go for him here in game 2. John Janowitz, max score, 237. And Wilcox still can get to 190. All right, so with the pickup, Kulik will be in the 230s. Plahowski doubles in the 10th, gets to 204. Stephanie Johnson will step up. She can get to 217. 182 for AJ Johnson. Janowitz delivers the first hit. Max for him at 237. And Wilcox will step up in the 10th. Can get to 190. Shout out to the Wilcox family. He said they're looking to log on and watch the action here, so hopefully they were able to do that, joining us the rest of the way. This is just day 1 of 4, game 2 of 6 for today. We'll have 6 games each day through Friday. Remember, drop all your questions in the chat. We'll be here to answer those for you. We'll chat later on with world champion Marshall Kent. Right now, Matt Canizaro and Brent Houghton bringing the action live here from behind lanes 9 through 12 here at the ITRC. Brant, we've got some trivia for you, some ITRC trivia.
Let's hear it.
I believe, well, we'll see if you know the answer. I bet you figured out. You have a 1 in 4 chance of being correct. But of the 4 Bowl TV commentators we've named so far today, or 5 if you count Jason Thomas, headed to sectionals this weekend.
Oh, of course.
Which Bowl TV commentator rolled a perfect game right here on lanes 9 and 10 at the ITRC?
If I had to guess, that's a good one. What do you think, folks? Can you give me some help? Who do you think shot a 300 between Emil, Matt, and Aaron? Let me know in the chat.
Wait, what about
And
you or
and
JT?
me and Jason Thomas. I gave you a hint. Hint there on one.
Which one is not?
One of the answers, yeah. Which one is not? John added in the chat says Emil. Tally one up for EWJ.
EWJ, collegiate national champion.
And Lindenwood Hall of Famer, as Aaron Smith likes to point out. The Hall of Famer. Darren giving you some love, Matt. Thinks it's you. None yet for Jason Thomas or Aaron Smith. Matt, if I had to guess, I'm going to go with Aaron Smith.
Well, I would have to say, Mr. Hatton, that is not correct.
I knew the look on his face. He was about to tell me I was wrong. I've seen that before.
Aaron Smith, a very talented player in his own right, actually owns the highest individual 3-game series of the bunch. But I wouldn't have brought up that trivia if I didn't want to just talk about myself a little bit here on the air, because I haven't done too much, but that is one thing. So there you have it. And now we'll turn our attention to a left-hander who's actually talented, Wesley Lowe, joining us on our men's pair here in Game 3. We'll get our graphic updated as well. It is Lowe, Tackett, and Crowell here for Game 3. So far, you probably figured out players left move left and right move right, so not crossing with the same players each game. And on our ladies pair, it is the PWBA Rookie of the Year, Jordan Richard. Joined by Josie Barnes and Sydney Brummett. Josie, a longtime coach at Vanderbilt. And Brummett recently announcing that she'll be part of the coaching staff at Indiana Tech. So a lot of these players with real jobs as well. They're busy out there. They're not competing, especially on the ladies' side, out there coaching. Shannon O'Keefe, much success at McKendree. Already mentioned Barnes at Vanderbilt. Now Brummett at Indiana Tech. Kelly Kulik travels the world doing various coaching clinics. Just got back from Australia. An annual trip for her to enjoy the land down under as well as bring her bowling knowledge. And all these players now just a few weeks away from the start of the PWBA Tour season. So a lot happening. Collegiate season rolling on. Sectionals coming up. Pretty soon we'll know the team's headed to the NCAA championships as well. And then once the season concludes It'll be time to compete for the ladies. The PBA Tour in full swing. Very busy out there. World Series of Bowling coming up right around the corner, so not much time to rest for these standout players. Appreciate everybody dropping in. Game 3 underway on both of our featured pairs, 9 through 12. Nearing the halfway point of today's action, just like that. We'll have some more on-the-job training here on the new Bowl TV platform. I have a feeling by week's end, I will know the ways of the guru. I'll have the power.
The keys to the t-shirt can
That's it.
may or may not be handed over.
Free stuff is fun. And again, it's not often we have this many Team USA members, let alone men and women, in the same place. Generally, outside of the combined World Championships every 4 years, their events are separate. There's a combined PABCON as well. For the most part, Team USA camps are held separately so that the players and coaches can get that one-on-one experience, utilize the tools here at the ITRC. Again, it's called the home of Team USA, but it really is open to all USBC members. Come on out, utilize the tools yourself. This place filled with cameras, all kinds of neat equipment to help you see your ball path and ball speed and accuracy. All kinds of measurements the staff can take. See yourself from all angles. Nice break there for EJ Tackett on lane 11 for his first strike here on Bowl TV. There's also a gym area here. Much like our high school players can at the high school bowling combine every year. You can come out, test your agility, test your strength, see how you stack up against the best youth or Team USA players. Come out to the ITRC, get a full day or a half day, or just come out and practice on an oil pattern of your choice. Challenge yourself a little bit. It's the only way to get better. And today, these players are challenging themselves on the 41-foot Rome oil pattern. We'll see. Again, 41 feet. You're going to start a little bit farther in. I don't know if you can see it off to the left side of your screen there. AJ Johnson already pretty deep here in game 3. And the 4 patterns we'll see this week are just 4 of the 12 that World Bowling has selected for the 2019 season. Those all are available at worldbowling.org. And all countries around the world have the opportunity to see and download, practice on those patterns so they'll be ready for the international events. If you want to see this week's 4 patterns, just go to the information tab there on the right side of your Bowl TV window. It'll take you to the Pan Am page on bowl.com, and you'll be able to see what's coming up the rest of the week here after today's 41-foot pattern.
Matt, you touched on a little bit earlier, a lot of action coming up this week on Bowl TV. Not just Team USA action, but collegiate action as well. I'd like to wish my man Josh Marks in the chat and his teammates a good luck this weekend in the Stratford region. So if you're tuning in this weekend, look out for Josh and his team. The best of the best bowling out in the lanes here today. The best of the best will be crowned this weekend to compete for intercollegiate singles and team championships later on in April. With all that means, of course, a lot of Bowl TV for all you viewers back at home.
All right, we do have the standings up now on bowl.com through 2 games. On the men's side, Perry Crowell leading the way at 450. John Jenner was close behind, 448. EJ Tackett, 432. Jacob Butcher, 426. Nick Pate, 400. Sean Wilcox, 397. AJ Johnson, 392. Darren Tang, 380. And Wesley Lowe, 354 for his first 2 games. Crowell averaging 225 to lead the way. That's to our left. Wilcox had the front 5. That's him shooting the 3-6-10 and missing it on lane 8 there to your right. Trying to make up some ground here on day number 1 for the ladies. Stephanie Johnson jumps out to the lead, 443 through 2. That's a 221.5 average followed by Josie Barnes, 426. Shannon Blahowski, 420. Shannon O'Keefe, 419. Sydney Brummett, 415. Kelly Kulik, 411. Jordan Richard, 397. Liz Culkin, 365. And Missy Parkin at 359. Once again, players will be assigned point values based on their finishes each day. First place worth 1 point. Ninth place worth 9 points. And then their overall finish based on pinfall for the week will earn them points as well. Same deal. Highest pinfall total for the week, 1 point. Lowest, 9 points. And all of those points will count for 60% of their qualifying for the Pan Am Games. It's a little bit confusing. Try to explain it as things get going here. We will not have a conclusion to the qualifying process here this week. That'll take place respectively at the Masters for the men and the USBC Queens for the women. Those events will count for the other 40%. And then when those events are done, we'll know the 2 men and 2 women headed to Lima, Peru for the Pan Am Games this summer. That event held once every 4 years. The last time was 2015 in Toronto. And Pan Am Games, essentially the Olympics for bowling. It was the best of the best. By definition, the Pan Am Games, the second largest multi-sport event, gathering the 41 National Olympic Committees that make up Pan Am sports. Bowling made its debut as a demonstration sport back in 1983. That was long before Grant Houghton existed on this earth. He now here is to help watch the selection process for the 2019 event. The first Pan Am Games held in 1951 with 22 countries and 18 sports. Now we'll see more than 6,700 athletes featuring 39 sports in 2019. So quite a growth rate, and bowling fortunate to be included amongst those and really getting the Olympic experience from getting to share in the apparel with all of the other Team USA programs to the athlete experience on site at the event. Very special for those 2 men and 2 women who will head that way in 2019. Take a look back at last time at the Pan Am Games, because we can, Brant Houghton. 2015, again, Toronto, Canada. On the men's side, it was Devin Bidwell and Tommy Jones. And at the Pan Am Games, they bowl singles and doubles. Bidwell earned a bronze medal in the singles event, and then Bidwell and Jones teamed up for the bronze in doubles. On the ladies' side, it was Shani Blahowski and Liz Johnson. Blahowski taking the gold medal in singles, Johnson the bronze, and then they came away with the silver medal in doubles. Looks like for Kulik, it's been a while. 1999. She was at the Pan Am Games in Manitoba, Canada. Also in 2011 in Guadalajara, Mexico. So looking to get back for the first time in a minute. Here we are winding down. Game number 3 already, the halfway point of today's 6-game block.
A lot of fast-paced action today, Matt.
Well, these are the best in the world, best in the country for sure. And no doubt they're going to throw a lot of strikes throughout this week. And with the 4 different patterns, definitely a test of versatility. From as short as 36 feet, or more than likely, they'll be migrating toward the outside part of the lane. To today's 41-foot oil pattern. To our left, after a pair of opens to start, a couple splits for A.J. Johnson. He's now thrown 8 consecutive strikes into the 10th frame. Game-by-game standings available. Click on the information tab to the right of your video window. It'll take you to the tournament page for this week's event. Standings through 2. This is game 3. Before we're done today, we'll have Marshall Kent join us in the booth a little bit to tell you what he's seeing out there. He came to the ITRC this week with every intention of competing, but his right hand a little bit torn up, so not going to risk any further injury. Will just be, at least for today, a spectator. Tenth frame underway on our featured pair. Over on 9 and 10, Jordan Richard gets the first hit for the 3-bagger. She can get to 205. New Indiana Tech coach Sydney Brummett can get to 222. Match score for Josie Barnes, 201. Over on the men's pair, Wesley Lowe having a tough day so far. Got a strike in the 9th, can get to 199 here. Craig Crowell, max for him 179. Perry, the pride of Detroit, after qualifying for Team USA. Detroit Athletic Club. We're talking about him in presentations and newsletters, and some great success for him now. The opportunity potentially to qualify for the Pan Am Games. He's your leader here on the men's side after 2 games, averaging 225. Gonna lose some sticks here in game 3. And E.J. Tackett will close things out for the men on 11 and 12. 212, his max score. To our left, A.J. Johnson finishes with 242. Jordan Richard, all 3 in the 10th for 205. As we are just minutes away from the halfway point, halftime here on day 1. Brant, what cool thing can we learn about the new Bowl TV as our halftime celebration here?
I don't think I know any better halftime celebration, Matt, than a few giveaways.
A few, that's good.
So it's funny you brought that up because I'm looking to my right, I'm looking to my left, and the T-shirt cannon has been warming up for a little bit, so it might just be giveaway time here at the conclusion of Game 3. What do you think, Matt?
I'm all about it. Anytime we can engage with our fans out there. I know some of them like us because they like us. Others, they like us because we have cool stuff. That's okay, too. I'll buy your love. I'm not above it.
Matt Cannizzaro is ready for a giveaway. What about you guys? Let us know in the chat who's ready for a giveaway. Game 3 wraps up.
We can give away the opportunity to come bowl here at the ITRC. As a USBC member, you are welcome to visit the home of Team USA. Take advantage of all the tools here. Call the staff here, Lou Marquez, Rod Ross, Team USA head coach. They'll get you signed up for a half-day, full-day lesson. Come out and bowl on an oil pattern of your choice. Maybe you're getting ready for the USBC Open Championships. You want to come out and challenge yourself on some tough lane conditions. Maybe put on last year's oil patterns to get a feel for something a little bit tougher, make some spares, etc. The ITRC is the place to do it. You don't have to be local, and you don't have to be an elite player, Team USA professional. Just be a USBC member. Come on out to the ITRC. And Game 3 coming to a close here. Question in the chat, will they re-oil? No. They'll bowl 6 straight games on this 41-foot oil pattern. Then we'll be back at it tomorrow. Another day, another pattern. Tomorrow will be the 36-foot Stockholm. No doubt you'll see the players migrate toward the outside part of the lane. And we'll see them play all over the place over these 4 days. Josie Barnes, 189. Jordan Richard, 205. Sydney Brummett, 202. Wesley Lowe, 186. Harry Crowell, 168. And E.J. Tackett recently picked up some hardware at the World Men's Championships in Hong Kong, including the all events gold medal. Great year for him. Always in the run for PBA Player of the Year. And now here he is, coming off a TV appearance just this past weekend. And now at the ITRC, looking to qualify for the Pan Am Games with Team USA. Game 3 has concluded. Get ready for Game 4. We'll change our graphic. And Brant with the itchy trigger finger. What's happening? Teach me something.
Well, Matt, as you see on the lower third, left-hand third of your screen, the giveaway is underway. Very, very simple. Anybody can enter. All you need to do is just hit that submit entry button. You can see the countdown. We're about 10 seconds away from the T-shirt cannon. So 7, 6, 5. Let's see what we got. Let's see who's the winner. Oh, congrats to Eric Decker. As we mentioned earlier, we have Team USA in the house. Have a bunch of autograph stuff from them. Congrats, Eric. You won Shannon O'Keefe autographed jersey. So, Matt, it's simple for you. It's simple for the people viewing back home. All they have to do is click submit. We even give them a little heads up. 60-second countdown. Then you have 45 seconds to enter and click that submit entry. Then you're ready to rock. Then all the action happens.
All right. A little bit of fun. And here we thought that the grand prize was the expert commentary over these 24 games, but alas, the new Bowl TV, more cool stuff than ever. Tell your friends. Tell them to join us here. Got 3 games to go here on day 1 of the Pan Am Trials for Team USA. 18 Team USA members working their way toward 4 spots. 2 men, 2 women will advance to the Pan Am Games. This week's action, 60% of the process. The rest will come for the men at the USBC Masters, for the ladies at the USBC Queens. So here we are, game number 4, joined again by Shannon O'Keefe, Liz Culkin, and Missy Parkin. For the men over on 11 and 12, Darren Tang, Nick Pate, And Jacob Butchoff. Bowlers on the left move left, bowlers on the right move right. And they'll join us again here. The men stay on the men's pairs, and the women stay on the women's pairs, and that will allow them to kind of keep the transition as familiar and clean as possible. I guess is the easiest way to describe it. In any event around the world, they would never cross each other, and it won't happen here at our Pan Am trials.
Matt, you had mentioned earlier about Team USA not really having a whole lot of opportunities outside of qualifier events and team camp to really work together on their game and get under the same roof. Throughout your career, you called quite a bit of Team USA action. How important is that chemistry and that bond that you form during the Team USA camp on the lanes when you get to these competitions?
Oh, it's 100%. It's a chemistry thing. I mean, you can have, and we've known this at the collegiate level, at the Open Championships, Women's Championships, you could have the absolute 5 best players in the entire world bowl together. On paper, they're terrific. It could be the 5 hottest players at the time, but if they don't get along, they can't communicate, they can't work together, they're not gonna do well. So a lot of times, players will tell you they'll take 5 slightly less talented players who get along well and have that chemistry and can work together over the 5 best who are more individual type players and have a hard time communicating. And then for the Team USA program, especially on the women's side, if you look back over the last 15 or so years, going back really to 2005 for O'Keefe, Plachowski, Stephanie Johnson, all on the team every single year. And then you add in players like Kelly Kulik, a longtime Team USA member, Missy Parkin in the mix over the last decade or so. And they just have more and more opportunities to get together. And I mean, you can just see it off the lanes. They're absolutely, great friends, best friends, always cheering for each other. And now with the return of the PWBA Tour, they're out there, they're sharp as ever, they push each other. But at the same time, they're roommates, they're friends. And you can see it, they're on the same ball staffs. And so it's really just team through and through. And, on the men's side as well, you see the return players. You get that camaraderie, you get that team atmosphere built up. The more you spend time together, it's kind of a little bit of a transition, for the men over the last few years, with Bill O'Neill and Mike Fagan stepping away from the program, and now Chris Barnes and Tommy Jones. But you've got the young talent on the rise here. The emergence of Sean Wilcox, the reemergence now for the second time of Nick Pate. The Tang brothers always in the mix as well, but then you mix in some of that experience here on Team USA. Marshall Kent at in his mid-20s here, just the senior of the group almost. John Janowitz has been around. He knows more probably about lane play and lane conditions than anybody, so he can bring some knowledge and experience there. Wesley Lowe, the left-hander, had a great youth career and many accomplishments with Junior Team USA, making his jump to the adult team. So a nice mix between the experience and then those top tour players out there in the PBA Tour. The EJ Tackett's recently picking up the medals internationally. So, it's kind of a tale of 2 teams between the men's and the women's, but certainly very talented in both regards. But you can really see that chemistry wherever we go with the women, and we had a great time for the men at the World Championships just recently in Hong Kong too. So that is absolutely crucial, and events like this gives them the opportunity to room together, eat together. They're only bowling 6 games today, but they're here for 4 days, so they're going to spend a lot of time doing some other team building activities and really getting to know each other if they don't already. And Brant, you'll learn. Anytime you ask me a question, you're always going to get more than you bargained for.
I was thinking that was quite the long-winded answer, a lot of context given to kind of build off that, you kind of touched on it a little bit in your response. How much, when you looked at the coaches, Rod Ross, in the selection process for the trios team and the doubles teams, how much does that camaraderie come into play? Obviously, like you mentioned, you have these ladies out on tour, they're rooming together. On the men's tour, it's the same thing. They're roommates, they're best friends, they're on the same staff. How much does that come into consideration for a guy like Rod Ross?
Well, Rod has been part of this program for quite a while as well, so he knows the players and their capabilities. And again, no matter what environment you're in, some of the players are just going to get along better than others. Again, you have that chance. A lot of times the events will start off with singles. Everybody get a chance to get comfortable out there on the oil pattern and at the events, and then doubles will come along. And so, you want to base your lineups and your trios teams, and you want to first look at who's comfortable together, who communicates well, maybe who bowls similarly, so that he can go out there and kind of work off each other. So there's just so many factors, and you go out there and just expect that really you could put any 2 players, 3 players together of the 6 who are at the event, and you're going to see that. But there's so many different factors that come into play, and those decisions don't have to be made until the night before each event, and you really just want to give yourself and your country the best opportunity to come away with the gold medal. And for the Team USA ladies, sweeping the medals in doubles at the PABCON Women's Championships this year. It had only been done one other time in history, and that was by a men's team. So again, you could have put probably any of those ladies together, and they would have found great success and got along very well. But it'll be interesting to hear from Rod Ross or Stephen Padilla later on during this event to kind of get their take on some of those decisions. All right, so it looks like the giveaway guru, Brandon Houghton's going to step out, and he'll keep an eye on things behind the scenes from upstairs. He'll leave it with me here, back on Bowl TV Live. Behind lanes 9 through 12 at the ITRC. Brant, hopefully you're getting a little more comfortable here in the headset. You'll be headed off to one of the sectionals for the collegiate bowlers this weekend. So we look forward to hearing you fly solo here on Bowl TV in your official lone debut out there. But we appreciate you joining us here today for day 1 of the Pan Am Trials for Team USA. I'm sure we'll see you again later this week before you head out.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me. and about ready to gear up. We'll be doing a rocking and rolling and watching a whole lot of bowling this weekend. Thanks, Matt. See you guys soon.
All right, that was Brant Houghton, the giveaway guru here on Bowl TV, joining us. And now we'll see if Marshall Kent would like to come on and chat. For a few minutes. We're halfway through game number 4 already. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. If you want to see the details on the latest standings, click on the information tab there alongside your chat window. Through 3 games, John Janowitz at the top of the standings, 647. Nick Pate in second, 644. AJ Johnson had 240 plus in game 3. He is at 634. EJ Tack at 633. Jacob Butchuff, 632. Sean Wilcox, 626. Perry Crowell down to 7th place, so you can rise and fall pretty quick here. He's at 618 now. Darren Tang, 584, and Wesley Lowe is 9th at 540 for the ladies. Stephanie Johnson still on top, 646, pulling away a little bit. Sydney Brummett, 617. Josie Barnes, 615. Shannon O'Keefe, 614. Kelly Kulik, 603. Jordan Richards, 602. Shannon Blahowski, 592. Missy Parkin, 576. And Liz Culkin is at 558 in 9th place. Again, 9 men, 9 women. 18 of our 25 Team USA members here this week competing in the first portion of our Pan Am trials. Right, game number 4. Rolling along here on our featured pair. Culkin, Parkin, O'Keefe, Pate, Butchuff, and Tang. We'll have a chance to chat with some of our players later today about today's experience and how things went on this 41-foot Rome oil pattern. So just curious, who would you like to hear from if we were to get a recap? Say, hey, tell us about today and how you attacked it and how it went for you. Who would you most like to hear from? out of this group of 18 of the best players in the world? Let us know in the chat, and we'll catch up with at least one of those players after today's 6-game block. Remember to follow us on social media, very important. A lot of cool stuff shared across our social media channels. You can find us on Facebook, The Sport of Bowling USBC, and on Twitter at USBC. Always from all of our events, some great behind the scenes information and action, videos, photos, highlights, and more. Of course, so much going on in the bowling world. Again, we mentioned coming up this week on Bowl TV, sectional qualifiers for the intercollegiate team and singles championships. We'll have live action from all 4 of those locations coming up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The crew on the road. And then also kicking off Saturday in Las Vegas, the 2019 USBC Open Championships. All players welcome. We've got more than 10,000 teams headed that way. Some of these Team USA members might be stopping in, but the Open Championships open to all bowlers, all ages and skill levels, 3 divisions. Still time to enter. We're at the South Point Bowling Plaza in Las Vegas, March 9th to July 8th. Entries closed at the end of this week. Check out bowl.com/openchamp. And if you want to see some of the behind the scenes stuff from that event and more, follow me on Facebook, Matt Canizaro USBC, and on Twitter at USBC Matt. Some world travels. We headed back to Las Vegas for the start of the OC, and then off to the World Junior Championships, the inaugural event for players 16 and under. We're headed to Paris, France for the first running of that tournament. That's coming up in the middle of March. March 15th, we're headed that way through the 23rd. Talented players from the Junior Team USA program. Cameron Peters, Mabel Cummins, Anthony Nyer, and Solomon Salama. Coming up in April, the PAMCON Men's Championships in Peru. We'll announce that team, those 6 players, here coming up later this week. But right now, wrapping up game number 4 here. Pan Am Trials, day 1. And on 11 and 12, Nick Pate finishes with 216. Darren Tang, 233. So the players clearly getting comfortable. They fought through that transition a little bit. And now finding some strikes here in game number 4. Butcher looking to make a move. He can get to 279. And he was the middle of the pack, 5th place at 632. Gonna jump up in the standings here for the ladies. 10th frame about to get underway. Liz Culkin looking to bounce back from the 9th frame split. She can get to 213. Shannon O'Keefe will step up on the right lane here in just a minute. 195 max for her. Missy Parkin still can get to 200. All right, let's see what our Bold TV fans said in the chat. Appreciate the kind words on the new platform. Very interactive, a lot going on. We had a Team USA autographed jersey giveaway at the halfway point today after 3 games, so that was cool. Thanks to Brand Houghton, the giveaway guru. Say that 10 times fast. Buttroff not giving away any pins there. Finishes with 279. All 3 players on the men's pair striking out in the 10th frame. Filling frames. And they'll move on. Get ready for game number 5. Some of the other players. Saw Kyle Troop with a social media post today. He is off in Qatar this week. So there's always something going on in the bowling world, and sometimes having to make the choice. Kyle coming back from a hand injury as well. That event in Qatar will not be featured on Bowl TV. We're not quite there yet. We'll be spread all around this week with our sectional events coming up. Looks like a few folks want to hear from EJ Tackett, Nick Pate, Stephanie Johnson, Liz Culkin. And off to our left, superstar, USBC Hall of Famer, Tennille Milligan. Yeah, she's eating her lunch here. Didn't bring any for the rest of us, but right, starving players and 6 games, intense competition, and Tennille does not share with her former teammates. All right, back to reality here. Game number 4. Wrapping up. Liz Culkin 203, Shannon O'Keefe 184. And Missy Parkin can't get to 189. So final shot here. Just 1 moment from Missy, and then we'll be ready for game number 5 in just 1 moment. Things got awfully quiet here. John Dano is not going to waste any time. Must be looking forward to a cupcake or 2. Game 5 underway on the men's pair. Tough start. And we are joined now as we wrap up game 4 for the ladies. Start game 5 for the men. Marshall Kent, longtime Team USA member, PBA champion. We'll hear from Marshall here about what's going on and what we're seeing out here. Marshall came into this week with every intention of joining his teammates on the lanes, but the hand not holding up so well. Tell us about that, Marshall. You guys have been bowling a ton of games over the last few weeks. I believe the stat was that you were one of the 3 players who made match play, right, at the initial event there. So it's got to be pretty tough on you guys physically.
Yeah, it's been a really long 4 weeks. I actually sat back and added it up. I think it's about 157 games in 4 weeks. And when I went home, I ripped my thumb up open a little bit. I never gave it enough time to fully heal over, and the last 4 weeks have kind of done a number on it. I actually practiced for a half hour today, and first 10 minutes felt pretty good, but then the last about 5 minutes or so, I couldn't keep my hand under a ball, and I actually just split my thumb open again. And I probably could have toughed it out, but considering the World Series is next week and considering how many games are about to be bowled there, it's probably better to try to take a couple days off. And I might end up bowling days 3 and 4 and try to get some points and try to get some games under my belt. But I'm not at a point right now where I can push it and, you know, take the risk. And, you know, the World Series is an event you can't go into it bowling against the best in the world already injured, you know. So you got to be firing 100%. And if your hand's not, if my hand's not there yet, then I can't push it. And, so today and tomorrow will probably be off days, and we'll see how it is on day 3.
All right, so a very unique format here for this event. Pan Am Trials is what we're calling it. We have 18 of our 25 Team USA members here, bowling 4 days, 6 games a day, 24 games. They'll get points assigned for their finishes each day, different oil patterns, so points for each, and then points for their overall finishes. The goal, to have the least amount of points when the week is over. The minimum would be 5. That means you're the highest each day and the highest overall, and give you a nice head start heading into the final portion of this qualifying, which is the USBC Masters for the men and the Queens for the women. But we talked earlier just about how much bowling there is out there for everybody, really. For the guys, you know, the middle of an exciting PBA Tour season, some big things happening TV-wise, live stream-wise. You mentioned how many games you're bowling, so some longer formats, a lot of match play, dual formats, dual lane patterns, just a lot of excitement out there, but also having to pick and choose some different events. And as you mentioned, your personal challenges with keeping your hand in good shape. Kyle Troop, we saw him have to sit out an event because of his hand. It's very grueling. How do you manage that? How do you come back? At this point, you mentioned a couple of days rest. But you really don't have much time to be able to get back in bowling shape.
Yeah, no, it's definitely tough, but I think with things looking up tour-wise, where we do have a lot of events to bowl in a row, and we do have a little more prize money going our way, we have the luxury of being able to take a week off for an event. And whereas before, it was like we had our 1 month stretch of events in a row, and then we'd have 2 months off, and then we'd have 2 events, and then we'd have 3 months off. So we really couldn't take any of those events off because we had to bowl them because they were so spread out. But now with consecutive weeks in a row, it certainly makes it easier to be able to say, hey, I need a week off. This is a smaller event. I bowled pretty well the last few weeks. I'm going to take this week off, just rest up and be fresh for the next one. And I think most of us have bowled enough to where our fits usually don't get our hands don't usually rip up that much. But, with so many games, there's only so much you can do. If your fit's slightly off, you're gonna feel it. So, like with my thumb, I took Lubbock off, the tour stop in Lubbock off, and it was day 3 when I was home practicing. My thumb hole was a little big. I didn't put tape in it. I got a little lazy, and I said, you know what, I can get away with it for this practice. I'll just, I'll try to get away with it. And at about 45 minutes in a practice session, my thumb started to blister it, and it was kind of downhill from there. And I haven't taken enough time off to let it fully heal over. And there's been moments the last 4 weeks where it's kind of hurt me a little bit, and so I'm gonna take a couple days off and see if I can't let it fully heal a little bit more, and hopefully it won't be an issue in the coming months.
Well, that's one of the unique things about our sport is that your grip, your fit is it's not like your shoe size. Once you get to a certain point, it's going to be the same, and it sounds like it's ever changing, and just the fact that it can change from day to day, week to week, and you guys are always out there trying different things, different grips to find what's most comfortable. But whether it's a pitch change or a span change, or just trying some different things, it really is it sounds like a constant work in progress.
Oh, it absolutely is. And everybody's different, too. It's like there's some guys I know that haven't changed their fit in 15 years, and there's guys that seem like they change it every other week, just fiddling with it and trying to find the right feel. And for me, I'm kind of the in-betweener. I like to play with stuff, but at the same time, I've kind of kept the same basic span and pitches pretty close for the most part for the last year or so. I played with like Stargeaster, and I played with a drop ring finger, and they were okay, but fit's definitely is one of the most overlooked aspects of the game, because a proper fit not only allows you to clear the ball better, but it also keeps your hand in good shape for a long period of time. and allows you to bowl those long format events without ripping any part of your hand or your finger or your thumb or anything like that.
All right, well, today we've got a pretty quick 6 games. And traditionally, at our international events, PABCON, World Championships, etc., we do see 6-game blocks. So today, we're having 6 games on this 41-foot Rome pattern. This game on our featured pair 9 and 10, we are joined by Kelly Kulik, Stephanie Johnson, and Shani Plachowski. What seems like a combined 100 years or so of Team USA experience. Over on the men's side of this game, got a pair of Floridians, John Janowitz and Sean Wilcox, and A.J. Johnson, recently re-added to the Team USA roster for 2019. And those guys, a variance of experience. Janowitz, the longtime bowler and Team USA member, the Hall of Famer, and the first-timer, Wilcox, and A.J. Johnson, the world champion, fitting nicely in between. And if you're just joining us, hello, welcome to Bowl TV. My name is Matt Canizaro. We're alongside Marshall Kent this game. Marshall came in to bowl this event, but a hand injury, a little torn up after, as he said, 150-plus games over the last few weeks. So joining us for some expert insight in the booth here. We'll talk about over the next game and a half here about what we're seeing on this 41-foot oil pattern first. And then we'll talk a little bit about Marshall's Team USA career and what it means to wear the jersey. Now, Marshall, at 41 feet, you expect the players might start a little bit deeper. A.J. Johnson, with the big hand, able to get left and wheel it pretty well. Early on, at least for the ladies, looked like a little more direct, around 15 at the arrows at least. But just talk about what we're seeing just in general on this 41-foot pattern, and then maybe from the men to the women, the difference.
Yeah, well, obviously the men are definitely going to start deeper. 41 feet, typically, what I saw early in practice is some of the guys were looking for a little bit of hold. There was some free hook around like 7, 8, if you can get your ball to read the right part of the mid lane. So from there, you take that hook spot and you move left until you find a little bit of hold as well, probably around like 10, 11, 12 at the break point, more like 10, 11. And then from there, it's just kind of migrating. It seems like as the pattern has transitioned, the move looks like, more of like 2 and 0s and 3 and 1s, kind of open up your angles. Still with a stronger ball to get it to read the right part of the mid lane. And it seems like the play is more of trying to stay out of trouble, because a lot of the misses I see are 7, 6. I've seen a couple washouts, but a lot of 2, 8, 10s, a lot of big 4s, and another washout right on cue with AJ. I don't know if that was a ball change or not, but and yeah, the women definitely more direct. Lower rev rates definitely help them play a little further right. It looked like pretty straight in the track, up in the track area, between 8 and 12. Getting it just right of the rangefinder looked pretty good for the women to start, and from there they've kind of, it's almost like they've more paralleled or kind of brought everything in with it, so there's more like 3 and 2s and 2 and 2s, it seems like, and they're definitely playing more direct. And the ones with the rev rate, like Kelly and Jordan, they can kind of take advantage of their rev rate and get a little further left of everybody else and use that broken down track area as miss room. Like that'll hook back, just like that. So they can get in a little deeper and create a little more angle and just a little more room. And then the tricky part, it looks like, across the house is just which pairs you hit which game. 3 and 4 for the men has definitely been the key pair, because there was some urethane balls thrown down that pair, which makes them a little tighter down lane and some spots that probably aren't favorable for when you're playing left. And so I believe it was Sean, AJ, and Perry on that starting pair game 1. Sean threw urethane, and then AJ and Perry moved about 10 left of everybody else. And so everyone I've talked to that's moved to that pair, it seems like they have to move about 10 or 11 with their feet and ball down to be able to create a look on that pair, just because of how they broke them down. Whereas over here on 11 and 12, Darren and Nick Pate started much further right and broke them down around like 5-6 to give them a little hook spot to throw at. And it seems like if you can find the right angle of attack, it's definitely been one of the more friendly pairs in the house. And it's kind of this. I haven't really watched the women's side a whole lot, but it seems like it's the same case for them. It's just who they catch, whose breakdown pair they catch at what game. It's very pair to pair, and by game 6 you've hit every pair twice, but the first time you hit 9 and 10, you come back to it 2 games later. It could be completely different just because of who's bowled there ahead of you. So yeah, you can kind of have an idea of how different 9 pair plays compared to 10, but you might have to move like 4 or 5 or 6 with your feet and to get back to the angle you need to get back to the zone you need to get to be able to hit the pocket consistently. So definitely there really haven't been a whole lot of games that started out with the first 2 or 3 that I've noticed because of the pair-to-pair differences.
We saw some big scores on 11 and 12 in game number 4, and now here in game 5 across the house, some strings of strikes. We saw Wilcox here start with the front 5 on our men's pair to our right. Josie Barnes has the front 5 as well, down a couple pairs to our left. Looks like Missy Parkin with the front 5 as well. So whether the players are kind of figuring out that transition, getting past that a little bit, getting a little bit more comfortable. And now this 41-foot pattern, at least by the World Bowling Standards for the year, kind of middle of the road. It's not super long, it's not super short, kind of a medium pattern, and we'll see it 36 feet tomorrow and 44 feet later in the week. But everybody's going to have their favors or their strengths. Of course, it's a test of versatility. You want your best players that can handle the most conditions out there, representing you on the lanes. We'll see that at the Pan Am Games. But Marshall, this 41-foot pattern, it's one of 2. Montreal also 41 feet. Obviously different look, shape, volume, just different things to look at. But as far as the length and where does this kind of fit in for you as far as how you would feel about it?
Well, these middle length patterns like 39 to 42 feet. You can either play the hook or the hold, it seems like, and depending on the shape of the pattern, it is going to dictate which one you play. So you scroll down just a little bit more, looking at the pattern graph. It almost looks like this one, you kind of want to play more of the hook spot to the right, just because the shape of the pattern is a little bit wider, and it's definitely a longer buffer at the end of the pattern. I mean, they start buffering at 30 feet, so at least what it looks like. But it just looks like with the wider shape of the pattern, playing more of the hook spot to the right is definitely the way to go. And it looked like that early in the day too. It looked like there really wasn't a whole lot of miss room left. So it was more of taking a strong ball and open up your angles a little bit and get it to read that 35 to 40 foot window in order to create some room. Whereas some of the 42-foot patterns have a narrower shape to them, so you want to play more of like 10, 11, 12 and try to find the miss room left, because more than likely 8, 7, 8, 9 is going to be out of bounds. So and that's kind of why pattern graphs are pretty important too. The shape of the trying to think of the term for it. Kind of the shape of the pattern itself will give you an idea of whether you're going to play one or the other, it seems like. And whereas like the 36-foot pattern, obviously you want to play the hook right because you want to play closer to the gutter and find that little miss room to the right, because when you have that much back end, you're not going to have a whole lot of hold. And we're bowling on the 44-foot pattern, day 3, I believe. And that's definitely one you want to find hold on, because you're not going to have that hook off of 8 like most other patterns. So yeah, those middle ground patterns can either be dictated by the shape of the pattern or just player preference. Like, if your hand, roll, and ball speed allows you to play the hold and you're comfortable with it, then play the hold. And I mean, from experience, I like to look for the hold. So I'd be one of those guys moving as far left as I could until I found some free hold left where I could get away with elbowing one and missing left and have it sit there and hit the head pin at least.
Well, speaking of left, Jacob Butchuff figuring something out here on 11 and 12. Last game, 279 to jump to the top of the standings. He's at 9-11 after 4 games, and started this game to our left. Spare 7-bagger. So definitely figuring something out there, where the opposite end, the other lefty, Wesley Lowe, struggling a little bit. He's in 9th place at 787. In between, EJ Tackett, 890. Sean Wilcox, 861. Nick Pate, 860. John Janowicz, 837. Darren Tang, 817. AJ Johnson in 7th at 798. And Perry Crowell, early leader, down to 8th place at 796. And now just looking at where some of the right-handers are playing, Crowell, we saw Janowicz getting pretty far left here. We saw AJ left earlier. If this block was any longer, I mean, that may be potential trouble for Jacob and Wesley, with the right-handers even being left of them. A little bit of crisscross at the laydown point, a little bit messy, but of course Jacob can combat that with his urethane equipment. But always something that you need to take into consideration in these 6-game blocks, and the type of oil used, which we don't know what type of oil we're using today. But
I think they're using fire oil today. If I heard right, they're using fire. So
these oils generally hold up a little bit longer too, so you may not see the players too far left at these events. But always something to consider.
I think having more oil in the front part of the lane will definitely help the oil pattern hold up longer and keep the pattern integrity. And it's just, it doesn't force you to move so far left and throw it so far right real quick. And yeah, if there was probably a game 8, if this was like an 8-game block, then maybe some of the right-handed traffic will get in the way of the lefties. But maybe because we're only bowling 6, then, and I mean Jacob's used to it. He's bowled the righties on tour for 3 or 4 years now, so I think he's kind of figured out how to get around that traffic and get his ball to the break point still. And Wesley bowling in college, I mean, he's struggling today, but I mean, college as a lefty, you either got to play the ditch or figure out how to get your ball through that dirt. It's definitely a different game on that side of the lane than our side of the lane for sure.
Yeah, ironically, at the same time, Jacob has been to the last 2 World Championships and struggled a little bit. The left side, maybe not as friendly as it had been in the past, and some of these world bowling patterns just real tough. So Jacob had a tough couple World Championships, and Wesley Lowe, similar situation at the World Youth last year in Detroit. So both players trying to figure out these patterns. Of course, they're ever-changing as well. But what's not ever-changing to our right, Josie Barnes has the front 8 here in game number 5. We'll keep an eye on that, and certainly go over and grab a highlight if we can. See if we could get brave and turn the camera even, so we can show it to the world here, because that's what we do. We'll see if she gets the 9th one here, and then we'll reevaluate for the men over on 11 and 12. Game number 5 coming to a close, and Josie delivers.
I don't think she liked that one, but got away with it.
The 9th,
just
hey,
based off her body.
it's all part of the deal.
Based off her reaction.
If you aren't watching, you look up there. It's an X on the scoreboard. It's all that matters. So she'll have a shot at the first perfect game of the week here in just one moment.
It's not how, it's how many.
Exactly, exactly right. For AJ Johnson, max for him 190 here on 11 and 12. Janowicz is just 2 strikes here in game number 5. He can get to 173. AJ throwing pins around, gets the 10 to go. Wilcox pulling well here. He can get to 247. And the ladies, a couple frames behind here. Kulik up for the 9th frame, and a little bit different shape, as you mentioned, for how the ladies are attacking things. A little bit straighter, and a flat 10 there for Kelly on lane 10.
Looks like scores are just all over the place. It's either 230 plus or 180 or less, which I can kind of see because it looks like they're easy. They give you just enough room to where you can kind of get aggressive and try to get some score. But if you get too aggressive, you end up getting in trouble and getting that 2-8-10 big 4 ball reaction. If you don't have the right ball in your hand, you don't get your ball to see the right part of that mid lane.
Leading the way for the ladies, late add to the roster, Stephanie Johnson, 8:58, 214.5 average, followed by Jordan Richard, 8:20. Mahowski, 8:18. Josie Barnes looking to make a big move here. She is fourth at 8:02. Kulik, 7:99. O'Keefe, 7:98. Brummett, 7:90. Parkin, 7:64. And Colkin, 7:61. So
Sydney and Missy are going pretty big in this game. Sydney's got at least 230. Strike here for 240, and Missy can strike out for 267. Messenger in front of the 10. Those last two shots were a little rough breaks.
Let's try to get creative here. Let the short guy handle things a little bit. Turn the camera for you.
I wish you the best of luck.
Try not to knock anything over. That's the #1 goal.
That was pretty good. That was pretty smooth.
See Josie Barnes step up on lane 14 here in just one moment.
Lucas isn't here to cast the Wiseman jinx. I think she's got a chance.
Barnes front 9. And that one doesn't quite make it back. 210 is the result for Josie.
It was definitely your cell phone camera that did it.
Of course.
Black cloud.
I've been called worse. We'll let Josie finish up there. You'll see her off to the right side of your screen. We'll get situated back here on our featured pairs. No problem. Sorta. Just getting it all lined back up. All part of the challenge. We'll have our own kind of transition here. All right, there you go. Close enough. We'll have game number 6 coming up here in just a minute. 190 for AJ Johnson. 236 for Sean Wilcox. 163 for Janowitz. Josie finishes with 266. Here our ladies pair. Blachowski, 222. Johnson can finish out at 193. And Kulik, 184. Max for her. We'll have our final game coming up in just a minute. You're watching the Pan Am Trials for Team USA. When this process is all done, 2 men and 2 women will head to Lima, Peru for the 2019 Pan Am Games coming up later this summer. My name is Matt Canizaro alongside Marshall Kent, Team USA member, PBA Tour champion. We'll have game number 6 coming up in just 1 minute. Thanks for being here on Bowl TV. All right, and just like that, game number 6 underway here. Final game of the day on this 41-foot Rome oil pattern. We'll have the 5-game standings available for you in just a few minutes. Click on the information tab there at the top right-hand corner of your video window, you'll see not only who's coming up on our featured pairs, but a link to the tournament information, get you some details, scores, the roster, the oil patterns, and more. And then all the way on the right there, a schedule for what's coming up on Bowl TV this week. We're here at the ITRC, International Training and Research Center in Arlington, Texas, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for this Pan Am trials for Team USA. And then also on Friday, the start of sectionals. Collegiate bowlers battling for spots at the intercollegiate singles and team championships. We'll have that for you all weekend long here on Bowl TV. A lot of great action. Remember to tell all your friends and join us. Keep an eye on that schedule there in your live events calendar. My name is Matt Canizaro alongside Team USA's Marshall Kent, who was here to bowl this week, but the hand having a rough time after 150 plus games. So Marshall sitting out today's 6-game block. Rest up, try to heal up a little bit. World Series of Bowling coming up. And then the USBC Masters not far down the road. That'll be in Las Vegas coming up the end of March and into early April. And now joining us for our final game today on our featured pairs, we've got Josie Barnes just off to our right. Last game had the front 9, finished with 266. Sydney Brummett, newly announced Indiana Tech coaching staff member, and PWBA Rookie of the Year Jordan Richard. And for the men, it's E.J. Tackett, Wesley Lowe, and Perry Crowell. We saw E.J. find success at the World Men's Championships in Hong Kong, picking up a couple gold medals out there and some good hardware. Good momentum going into the PBA Tour season. We saw him on TV a couple times already. And Marshall Kent as well has had a strong month out there on the PBA Tour and coming into this week's action. And, of course, the rest of the season, probably feeling pretty sharp, Marshall. How about that?
Yeah, the last few weeks definitely been a confidence booster for sure. Made the show at TSC and then 3 more top 10s in a row, so it's definitely close to breaking through to making more shows. There's just a couple things I probably have to work on physically and mentally, but I'm going into the next week feeling pretty good about my game and feeling pretty good about where I'm at, and I'm just gonna have to take it one step at a time and see what happens at the end of the week.
Now, one thing we see with our Team USA members, and we see it thanks to social media quite a bit with many players, but just the intense physical regimen that is needed. We talked about it with players of old like Emilio Monticelli and Ron Moore, and just how much effort they put into the physical conditioning. Even when you're out there for 6 games of intense competition, there's a lot of endurance necessary, and you're one of those players, spend a lot of time in the gym. They talk about it on the TV shows for the PBA, just going home, dropping weight, getting the legs strong. Kelly Kulik, always in the gym. Shannon O'Keefe now, they're hitting that 40-plus mark and having to endure those long days and compete with, in some cases, stronger, younger players, and just a different kind of world, and to stay relevant and to stay strong like we've seen Norm Duke do over the last couple weeks. What does it take off the lanes when you're bowling 6 or 7 games a day, but what do you do the rest of the day to make sure that you're at tip-top shape?
Well, everybody's workout routine is different. But I think we all have the same general goal, to build endurance for those really long days. Because not only does it help physically at the end of the day, it helps mentally too. Because when you're physically tired and can't perform 100%, you get impatient with yourself, and that's when the mental game kind of starts collapsing too. And so especially the long weeks as well. Like for the last few weeks on tour, we had 12 games of qualifying in one day, and then we had 14 games the next day with qualifying and match play, and then 16 games of match play the following day. So there's 42 games in 3 days. I mean, in order to keep up, you definitely have to be in good physical condition to do that. And for those of you that, say that you don't, I challenge you to bowl 42 games in 3 days and see how you feel. But like I said, with the mental side too, it helps a lot because, like I said, at the end of the week, when you're tired, you're running low on gas physically, and you can't make shots to the best of your ability like you want to, and you get those couple errant shots a game when you're tired, and that just frustrates you even more. So it definitely plays a role in the mental game as well. And like my regiment for a while, I was just straight strength training because I already felt like I had pretty good endurance, but I wanted to build some muscles and gain some size. But as of late, I've definitely added more cardio back to my routine. Like I'll do 5 miles on the bike to warm up, and then lift for however long it takes for me to get through my routine. And then I've started doing like a cool down too. Like yesterday, I did 5 miles on the bike. I do like 1,500 steps on the Stairmaster, or just something. It's usually about 15 to 20 minutes each time. So, I mean, there's about a half-hour cardio each day, and on top of the lifting. And I definitely feel like I took 3 weeks and went home and basically just did a physical reset with my diet and my workouts and my practice. And when I dropped 20 pounds, I was doing about a half hour to 40 minutes of cardio a day on top of lifting, and it definitely paid off because physically at the end of these last 4 weeks with all those games, my body feels great. Like I'm not in any sort of pain. I'm not sore. I'm not tired. The hand, it is what it is, but that didn't sound very good.
In trouble off to the left for Wilcox. Here's about 3 steps onto the lane. See what that ball looks like when it comes back.
Want to stop an entire tournament in the tracks, just drop a ball. We know how to do it. Oh, he's okay. That sounded like it could have hurt.
They'll talk through that, get the approach cleaned off, and we'll check back here for the rest of our final game here. Marshall was telling us about the physical conditioning necessary to be a top competitor in the bowling world. And Marshall, how do you balance all that with those competitive days when you have a block or 2, 12 games? How do you fit all that in? How do you find the desire to want to go and hit the gym for an hour or 2 in the midst of that kind of competition?
Well, competition days are brutal because, especially when you're bowling 2 blocks and you have a 3-hour break between. I started going to the gym between blocks and found that it helped out a lot more than I thought it would. But I was also in a really good routine where I don't really get sore after a workout or after a couple days of working out. Whereas if you haven't been physically preparing for it and you go to the gym in between blocks, that could hurt you because you'll just go into the next block sore and tight, and it wouldn't be good. But I did find, like, even if you don't do a normal routine, like I kind of cut in between blocks, I'll cut down my routine. I'll lighten up on the weight, but just enough to keep the body loose, and so I don't stiffen up during that 2 or 3 hour break. And I'd feel great going into the evening block, and then another part of it too is nutrition. I mean, when you get the nerves and like just the anxiety and the of competition itself, it's very hard to get your stomach to settle down to where you want to go out to eat after a block. Because half the time you're like, I'm not hungry, I'm just going to go to bed. And then middle of the night you wake up, you're saying, wow, I'm starving, I need to eat. And it's not good to eat at 3 in the morning when you have to bowl at 10 o'clock the next day. So nutrition's a really big one too, because if you don't properly fuel your body the right way, it's very difficult to get it to do what you want it to do. So even if it's just like a banana or a bowl of fruit or some sort of snack in the morning before you bowl, it's always good to have something in your stomach to give you that fuel to get through a block. And then, like a snack bar, some fruit snacks during the block as well to maintain your energy, and that's another overlooked aspect of it too. And that's probably one of the hardest parts is the nutrition side of it, is knowing how to fuel your body to get it to perform the way you want it to.
All right, so all those pieces in place, everything going right, doing all you can, and then the unforeseen situation again. The hand a little torn up this week. You got some time to rest here, recovery. But how does that affect you mentally going in? Now you got a big event coming up, and how much do you practice? Can you practice? What do you do differently to maybe to avoid? You might have talked a little bit about it earlier, but to avoid either making it worse or happening again down the road a little bit.
It's just kind of knowing your limitations and knowing your body. When to say, okay, I need a break. Like, I really want to be bowling right now, obviously, but there comes a point in time where you say you have to take some time to rest up, and that's just knowing, just listening to your body and what it tells you, and listening to whether you have pain or soreness or and just knowing yourself and saying, all right, I can't push it that much harder because otherwise something bad's gonna happen. And I bowled, like I said, I bowled this morning's practice session. I bowled for a half hour, and the last 5 minutes of it, I felt pretty good at the start, but the last 5 minutes I said, I can't do this. I can't push myself because it started flaring back up. And it's very hard. It's hard to have that discipline with yourself and that honesty with yourself to say, I can't bowl, can't do, because obviously it's not fun to withdraw from an event or from a day or whatever. But I mean, there's times where it's just the benefit in the long run outweighs the short-term gain. And like I said, it's tough to do, but you just have to listen to your body and yourself and make that call for yourself.
Well, now in this situation, even more on the line, being that, of course, representing Team USA, a very, very special thing. And then the Pan Am Games happens only once every 4 years, and only 2 men and 2 women will get the chance to go. Potentially a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and of course, you never know. For all of the players here, of the 18 bowling right now, only Shannon Plahowski and Kelly Kulik have been there before. But Marshall, you know what it means to wear the red, white, and blue. You've been a world champion. You've stood on the top of the medal stand. It was actually only 2 years ago in Las Vegas, 2017, and then didn't get the call for 2018. A chance to go back and defend that title, but I imagine that just those experiences, and good or bad, the wins and then the Passover, I guess, all motivation to want to do it again. But can you describe just putting on that jersey and going out there and representing your country?
It's one of the biggest honors in bowling. I mean, it's not just bowling for yourself. It's representing your country, not just your companies, your brands, for yourself. It's representing something bigger. It's representing your country. It's representing, the entire bowling, the entire organization of bowling in the United States. And to bowl for a cause bigger than yourself is just a feeling that'll never get old. And getting that call always feels incredible. And then getting the call that says you're not going is always one of the most heartbreaking things to hear. But like last year, I understood the coach's decision. They went with the guys that are bowling really well, and I was 100% with them too. So I wasn't bowling great at the time, and I don't blame them for not picking me. And I mean, you have to take who's bowling well to give yourself the best chance to win, because that's the end goal is to win the gold medal for the United States. And whether you're there to physically contribute or if you're back home rooting them on, it's a goal that's bigger than yourself. So if someone else is bowling better than you and they get a chance to go, then you can't envy them for getting picked over. You have to support them and play the team role and say, go get that gold medal for us, because like I said, it represents way more than just yourself. It represents your entire country. And it's just an experience unlike any other, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Well, now we're looking at the 2018 Team USA roster, top to bottom, just super deep and talented. Could have been as you said, any of those 6 guys could have gone out there and won gold in every event, the best in the world. And tough decisions for the coaches year after year. And this year, a little bit different look to the Team USA roster. You've got an incredible mix of talent. You've got the veterans, yourself, John Janowitz, Jacob Butchoff now getting to that level, and then the newcomers to the group. Sean Wilcox, first year on the team. Darren Tang, Perry Crowell picking up some experience now. Wesley Lowe making the jump from junior team. So just a total different look to the men's roster for sure. Jacob down there making some noise on the far end down on 3 and 4. He's got the front 9. Aaron Smith went down to keep an eye on him. Jacob leading the way here after 5 games. Had a nice second half of the day. 279 here in our featured pair a minute ago. But now, Marshall, this is not a World Championships year for the men. You guys will have the PABCON Men's Championships coming up in April. That'll be in Peru. And then just kind of working towards some different things. But just talk about this year's team and what we're seeing out of the great mix of talent and how kind of everybody helps each other.
It's been a lot of fun over the years getting to, like my rookie years, getting to compete with the veterans like Barnes and Tommy and Bill and Fagan and Sean. And now we're starting to see this transition period where we have all these younger guys coming in and take over. Like, other than JJ, I think the oldest one on the team is Perry, maybe, and he's 27. I think Perry and Kyle, maybe. But it's pretty cool to see the younger guys come in and take over for the team. And I mean, we're in a good period of time to do it. Like, last year we had a lot of young guys on the team as well, but a lot of them bowled on tour. Like, we had Player of the Year Andrew Anderson. We had Kyle Troop, who's bowled on tour for a long time. EJ, who's bowled on tour for 6 or 7 years. Jacob, who's bowled on tour. So it's like we had young guys, but they were so experienced for how young they were. It's really, you don't see them as that 23 to 27-year-old range. And now we have some fresh faces like Wesley coming up from the junior team. And we're kind of, it seems like to me, there's those clusters of dominant groups. Like, we had the Tommy and Chris, Bill and Fagan era for a while, and now we have another group with EJ, myself, AJ, Jacob, Kyle, and Andrew coming in, and out of that group. And once that group transitions, we'll start to see the Wesley, the Tang brothers, and like Sean Wilcox and Solomon, who's 16 and made the team. That's absolutely impressive. And you start, I think, from this perspective, you see these clusters of people making their way through the program, and it's actually been a lot of fun to watch over the years. Because is that number? Oh, he did.
That's it. Something fun
12?
to watch. Yeah, it's down on
right.
3 and 4 with Aaron Smith getting the highlight. Jacob Butchoff finishes the day with 300. He was leading after 5, so he's going to add another 100 onto there, and he'll be your leader. He was at plus 168 through 5.
What was his last 3 games? Must have been like 820 or 830 or something like that. That was a lot. That was a lot of scores those last 3 games, whatever he did.
Nick's got the standings here. We've just got our through 5 available on bowl.com, but certainly we'll peek back at that. We'll chat with Jacob. Finishes with 300, so he'll get 1 point for today on this 41-foot roam pattern. Something came together for him. As we said, the last 3 started with 279 in game 4, and now finishing with 300. So we'll get those details. And Wesley Lowe looking awfully confused here on our featured pair. And again, both guys left-handed, throw it completely different, of course.
100% different.
Wesley, the two-hander, and Jacob with his unique release, able to overcome pretty much any lane condition. You're always seeing him do some crazy things when the other lefties maybe are shaking their head.
Jacob's been one that's impressed me a lot the last 2 years, because we used to kind of know him as the guy that just took a urethane ball and hit as hard as he could at the bottom and threw it hard and threw it everywhere. And when he had it, he struck, but when he didn't, he was in no way, shape, or form in contention. But last couple of years, he's figured out how to grind and how to bowl, when he doesn't have it, and still manage to try to make a cut. And he's come a long way the last 2 years, and it's actually been pretty impressive to watch. And he still has that game where he can strike it. a bunch, but he's also developed a game where he can grind out, 2-0 to 10 when he needs it. And like I said, it's been impressive to watch the last couple of years.
Well, we've seen him strike a ton. This is his 3rd year now on Team USA. Back in 2017, a little bit of a roller coaster. Came off of a runner-up finish at the U.S. Open after leading by hundreds of pins. Bounced back, used that TV experience to his advantage, won the World Cup, and then went to the World Championships. Didn't bowl as well as he'd hoped. Made it back on Team USA. Had some trouble at the Worlds again, but now, as you said, just I think all of that, it has to help you develop a little bit mentally as well. You can't always bowl well. You have to. It's always about how you handle those down moments. I think that you really learn the most from. I think DeAndre Asbetti talks about it a lot. You learn more sometimes from your losses than you do from the victories. And I think that's, as you mentioned, how far Jacob has come, mentally from those ups and downs.
Yeah, like I said, it's been impressive to watch. And I grew up bowling JBCs with him, and I remember the first time seeing him bowl, I said, "What the heck is this kid doing?" And he was throwing like this urethane ball, and I look up at the scoreboard. He's got the first 10 like 3 games in a row. I said, "Oh, well, I guess I can't really make too much fun of him. It's working." And now here he is, kicking butt on tour, and today.
All right, if you want to see that highlight, Aaron Smith, no doubt, is going to throw that together, get it up here on our USBC social media in just a couple minutes. Sport of Bowling USBC on Facebook, at USBC on Twitter. Jacob Butchup, 300 to close out the day. He is your men's leader and winner, I guess, technically, of day 1 here on this 41-foot roam pattern. We're wrapping up our final frames on our featured pairs. Wesley Lowe finishes with 163. Perry Crowell, 163 as well. EJ Tackett will be in the 180s, 187 max. He'll be behind the pair there for the ladies. Jordan Richard can't get to 209. And Sydney Brummett, max score for her, 195. And Josie Barnes will close things out. She's working on 3 in a row. She can get to 217. We'll have a recap for you tonight on bowl.com. Josie, going into this final game, she's leading by 27 pins over Stephanie Johnson. Sandy Bluchowski 3rd. Brummett, Parkin, Richard, O'Keefe, Kulik, and Colkin. That's your 9 ladies. Again, we'll have the complete scores for today and a recap on bowl.com and on our social media later on. We'll be back at it tomorrow. New day, new pattern. Tomorrow should be the 36-foot Stockholm pattern. Shorter pattern, so I imagine just based on saying that out loud, the players are going to migrate to the outside part of the lane, potentially. Again, it's all a matter of what they see out there in practice, and then the rest of the day, who you follow and what they threw to get to that point.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of urethane go down the lane, especially the first 2.5 games or so. And then they're going to probably carry down a little bit to where the guys are going to move a little further left with their feet, open up their angles a little bit with a reactive ball, and I think tomorrow's going to be fairly scoreable. I think it's going to be more scoreable than an A. They're going to transition a little better, and I think pair to pair will be a lot less different because everyone's going to be starting in the same general area of the lane. So I don't see things getting too ugly tomorrow.
A lot of times we'll see those shorter patterns be the higher scoring. It's just kind of the nature, but not always. Not as some of the ones we've seen in recent years at these World Bowling events. They're always tweaking them, keeping you on your toes, and letting the world get a look at them. Josie Barnes finishes 2 games in a row, split in the 10th. She'll finish with 181 after the 710. 195 for Brummett, 208 for Richard. And just like that, one pattern, one day have concluded here at the ITRC, International Training and Research Center. The 4-day Pan Am trials for Team USA. This will make up 60% of the qualifying process. Points available each day for the players based on their finishes and then overall for the week. We were here again, 6 games today. We'll have 6 more tomorrow through Friday. And we were joined this afternoon first by Brant Houghton, the giveaway guru, gave away an autographed Team USA jersey here on Bowl TV halfway through our block. and then joined the last game and a half by Marshall Kent, who was playing the bowl this week, but letting the hand heal a little bit. We might see him take the lanes later in the week to get some of those points and potentially make a run at this year's Pan Am Games. That is the goal here. That event coming up later in the summer. 2 men and 2 women will head that way to represent the United States in the once every 4 years event. That'll be in Peru. A lot of more action coming up this week from the ITRC Marshall. We appreciate you being here with us today.
Thanks for having me. That was
Hopefully we'll
fun.
see you on the lanes the rest of the way. If not, we'll be glad to come and chat with you a little bit more to kind of get some insight into what we're seeing out there.
Sounds like a plan.
And folks, thank you for joining us here on the new Bowl TV. My name is Matt Canizaro, and that is going to do it from the ITRC for today. Back at it tomorrow at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. 18 Team USA players going to battle it out. We'll be back. Keep an eye on our social media for the day's recap and bowl.com. And folks, that is the news for now. We'll see you on the lanes.